Welcome to all. I pray that you have seen God's blessings this week in your lives through the joys and the sorrows, the good news and the bad news. I trust that you have seen God through Jesus Christ walking beside you. I want to read this morning the same passage that we did last week, Matthew 7:13 through 23. I'm going to read it in a different version. I'm going to read from the Message version. This is a modern English version. I like it very much. I don't always agree with everything that's the way it's put, but I like it very much. So I want to read this morning from that version here because it takes a little different look at some of the things that we talked about last week. Starting in verse 13. Don't look for shortcuts to God. The market is flooded with surefire, easy-going formulas for a successful life that can be practiced in your spare time. Don't fall for that stuff. Even though crowds of people do, the way to life, to God, is vigorous and requires attention. I wonder, do we sometimes look for an easy gospel, an easy way to God, that we don't have to practice anytime but an hour a week on Sunday morning we'll go to church. And maybe this week some of us are thinking, well, I'm going to go and find the time on Tuesday. I'm going to make a really special effort to find the time on Tuesday, and I'm going to vote. Okay? And that covers me. I don't think so. I don't think that's the way God intended us to follow Christ. Well, let's move on. Okay? Be wary of false preachers who smile a lot, dripping with practice sincerity. Chances are they're out to rip you off in some way or another. Don't be impressed with charisma. Look for character. Look for character. Who preachers are is the main thing, not what they say. A genuine leader will never exploit your emotions or your pocketbook. These diseased trees with their bad apples are going to be chopped down and burned. The version we read last week was the New International Version, and it says you will know them by their fruit, by what they produce, by their character. You'll know who follows Jesus. And the rest are diseased. The rest are going to be chopped down and thrown into the fire. Okay? It's character. I've been very disturbed the last few years when I've heard both preachers and lay people saying character is not important any longer. It's what we say. Well, it's easy to get Christians or anybody, really, to believe lies. All you have to do is tell them the lies that they want to hear. All you have to do is tell them the lies that they already believe are true anyhow, and wrap them in some biblical facade. And they'll fall for it each time. So, but character is important. Moving on. Knowing the correct password, saying master, master, for instance, isn't going to get you anywhere with me. What is required is serious obedience, doing what my Father wills. I can see it now. At the final judgment, thousands strutting up to me saying, Master, we preach the message. We bash demons. Our God-sponsored projects had everybody talking. And do you know what I'm going to say? You missed the boat. All you did was use me to make yourselves important. You don't impress me one bit. Jesus said, you're out of here. Far too often, I think that what we've seen today in all denominations, in all churches, is a desire for power and a desire for influence. These are the Achilles heel of the church. Especially, I'll point out that it's especially true in the evangelical movement. We've always desired influence and we've desired power. We've desired quick, easy salvations that give us numbers. We can say, I've had this many converts in my church. But that's not what God looks for. That's not what Jesus looks for. Jesus looks for how we live our lives, and Jesus looks for character. He looks for those that follow him, and he knows who does and who doesn't. So, this week, as we go through the week, and we go to vote, I will be voting. I think it's important that we look for character, not just words on the paper, not just a party platform, but the character, because that's important. So consider that this week. Consider who will be following Jesus as close as they can, and who will be the bad apple that is thrown into the fire. And let's make up our minds that we're not going to be that bad apple. We're not going to be that bad fruit. We're going to show Jesus and we're going to follow Jesus. So this is my prayer for the church and for you. So God bless you. Have a great week. And thank you for listening.